Hi, I'm Chris Wilson from Grinding Gear Games. This is our second Path of Exile Build of the Week video, which focuses on an interesting character that one of our players has submitted to us. In this week's news, we unveiled the first screenshot of Act 3's town and posted its music on the audio section of our site. We also released some snippets of voice acting that we've been working on. Feel free to check them out at pathofexile.com. The character that I'm showing today is zriL's witch called Liraz. I'm sorry if I got the pronunciation wrong. This character caught my eye because it's a pretty successful attempt at creating a melee witch using a few interesting synergies. He's primarily using two combat skills, Elemental Hit for fighting single targets, and Cleave for multiple targets. Let's first examine his passive skills. This is the current version of Path of Exile's passive skill tree. It currently has around 1300 to 1400 nodes, which support a large degree of character customization. Each character starts at different locations, with a witch starting here. The most important passive that he chose first is this keystone called Eldritch Battery, which converts all of his energy shield to mana. You may wonder why this is a good idea, considering his character is designed for close quarters melee combat, where the energy shield would be useful, but the additional mana allows him to use several auras that increase his lethality and survivability. Most of his passive allocation occurs closer to the Templar starting area. In addition to picking up elemental damage passives, he grabbed a large number of defensive combat skills. This choice of Inner Force is interesting because it boosts the effects of the 4 auras that he uses. One thing that I find fascinating about this character's itemization is that they use items of many different rarities for different purposes. Their boots and belt are magic, allowing them to stack different stats that they want, in this case life. They also have a good set of melee rares, and of course specific uniques that define the build that they want. The unique weapon they are using here is Ephemeral Edge, which has 3 useful properties for them: Mana Leech, a big boost to critical strike chance, and a 48% increase to their overall energy shield. This energy shield boost is entirely turned into mana because of the Eldritch Battery keystone that they chose. They're also using Vol's Protector, a unique armor which grants them a power charge whenever they deal a critical strike. It halves their mana total, but they have plenty to spare. The player's flask choices support this build as well. Because he has so much mana and mana regen, he doesn't need to have any mana flasks, instead using 3 health flasks and 2 special purpose utility flasks. The Granite Flask adds 10,000 armor for 4 seconds, which is useful in situations where you are being swarmed. The Diamond Flask causes all hits to become critical strikes for 1.5 seconds, allowing the player to get a lot of power charges from their unique armor. I'm going to show you his active skills next, but I need to leave town to find some monsters to fight. The area that I'm demonstrating here is a level 53 area, which is about 3 levels above this character. So the first thing I need to do is cast his auras. This aura here is Grace, which increases evasion. I'm also going to cast Anger, which adds fire damage, Wrath, which has lightning damage, and Discipline. This increases the energy shield that he has, which of course is entirely turned into mana. Now as you can see, these auras reserve a portion of mana from the top of his bulb. Thankfully, he has plenty because of the way he's built his character. In terms of the combat skills he has, as I mentioned before, Elemental Hit allows him to strike specific melee targets for quite a lot of damage. You can see I use the Enfeeble Curse there, which reduces the damage that the monsters deal, making it much less risky to fight them. As you can see, the character currently has passive power charges orbiting around it. These increase the critical strike rate. As you can see, it went up to 15% for a few seconds there while he had them. You'll notice each time you get a critical, it generally freezes the opponent. Each power charge, of course, allows me to have a greater chance of getting criticals, further increasing the mayhem. This could be seen if I drink the flask that allows me to get criticals with every hit. As you see, for a few seconds there I was able to basically one-hit the enemies, getting a lot of power charges. The character is also built to use Whirling Blades, which is primarily a movement skill in this context, although they can use it to go through enemies like that. It's very useful for getting in and out of combat if they need to. During combat there, I used the Granite Flask to get 10,000 armor. This enabled me to resist some of the damage that I was taking. I like this build a lot. I have a soft spot for melee witches. Most witches are built as casters, so it's really nice to see one that's this effective in merciless difficulty using a melee weapon. I also like the fact they used uniques in an intelligent way and abused one of the keystones so that they're able to use so many auras at once. Path of Exile is currently in closed beta. If you'd like to play it before it enters open beta later this year, please buy a supporter pack from pathofexile.com. If you've built a character that you'd like us to feature in one of these videos, please let us know on the forums. If you enjoyed the video, please subscribe to our YouTube channel and consider following us on Twitter and Facebook. Thanks very much for watching.